You are listening to Making It, the path to beauty industry greatness with Beautista, where we go behind the scenes to explore the human side of beauty professionals, learn how they found balance in their lives, overcame obstacles, and created communities that transcend the ordinary. Hosted by Beautista co-founders Jen and Matt Martinelli alongside Beautista representatives, Making It is your guide to navigating the ever-evolving world of beauty.
Welcome to Making It, your backstage pass to beauty. I'm April, and we're joined today with Anthony Jokai, co-owner of Salon K. With a keen eye for talent, Anthony manages hiring and oversees the salon's finances and inventory. He plays a crucial role in making strategic decisions about the brands that are brought into the salon, ensuring a top-notch experience for both staff and clients. Tony, do you feel like you've made it?
So it's kind of a trick question, but yes. So there's a degree of feeling like I made it. However, I do feel like I'm on a bit of a rocket ship, and it's kind of just started the engines and starting to take off. So we're pretty excited about where we are, where we stand, where the trajectory is taking us. Currently, situationally, we've only been open for just about 9 months now, and things have been progressing every month moving forward. Not only did the numbers keep rising, but also the clients keep coming in, and we see new clients every day, every week, every month. We have, probably 50 to 60 new clients, which is pretty exciting for a brand new business. We've come to the point where, hiring is absolutely a must. We are looking for qualified people that fit the space, that makes sense for the demographic of what we have around us. We're super excited because we do get people that come in from time to time, and we are very happy with who's coming in and what's going on. The buzz around town is pretty wild. Not just our town, but towns around us are pretty excited about us being here. We've got clients from 4 or 5 towns over. We've got them from the next state over. We're lucky enough to be close enough to Connecticut, so we get a lot of clients from Greenwich coming in, which is fun. So it's a pretty cool environment to be in. We're super excited.
Yeah, okay, first of all, I love this description that I just all of a sudden got this adrenaline rush for you when you described you feel like the rocket ship is taking off and you're in that. And I love that. And
Yeah.
you obviously have created a beautiful salon. I know we can see a little bit of it behind you, but it is
Sure.
a gorgeous facility. I've seen the pictures, and
Thank you.
it is quite the big project to open a new salon.
It
And
sure is.
yeah, so walk us through a little bit of that process. And I know it's gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you. This was a labor of love. Situationally, I am by trade a contractor, not a hairstylist. So the wife's been in the industry for, 30 years, more or less. That was a part of the reason why we met. But when we first took on the project, we were looking around forever. Couldn't find the right fit, the right space. We were trying to figure out what makes the most sense for the target market that we're looking for. And to have a small space did not make that sense, right? It was kind of not for us. We've seen a lot of spaces that were too small, but we finally ran into this space. We were super excited about it. There is an opportunity to go right and left, which is cool. There might be an opportunity to go to the right of the salon in a year and a half from now. So that's exciting. But this was the whole labor of love, getting to pick, every little detail of where things went and what the colors were and what the palette was going to be. As you can see behind me, the black ceiling, the wife was super conscious of that ceiling because she loved the height in it, but I told her it's too tall. It just makes it feel like it's going to be a factory. I said, we need to paint it black. It's going to look so much better. And it'll bring the eyes down to the level of where you're going to see the rest of the salon and really appreciate it. So the every time a first client would walk in that maybe she had as at the other place where she worked before, the first answer was wow.
Hmm.
They said hello, but it was just whoa. We did
Yeah.
not expect this. And so, from my point of view, being a contractor all these years and kind of picking up on designers and other things, I just have a taste for some of this stuff. And luckily enough, I was able to execute. Um, the situation is, pretty fulfilling knowing that I picked every little element and people come in and they give me that wow factor. Um, I want them to have that experience, not just with the look of the salon, but also their experience here,
Yeah.
the way they're treated, the way they're greeted, the way they're, checked out. We've trying to put in systematic um, uh, things in place so that everybody kind of does things the same way. So the experience is always the same.
Yep.
We're pretty excited about how that's going. Um, Everybody kind of knows their role, and every time we get a review, which we have a lot of, for 8 months, I think we're at like 125 ish.
That's
Um,
incredible.
yeah, and they're
Yeah.
all 5-star reviews, so um, that's exciting. Also,
Yeah.
we've had um, we had one person come in, and this is kind of a funky story, but they gave us a review of probably like a 4-star. We were like, hey, what can we do to fix this, right? So we called them back in. We said, hey, come on in. Let's see what the problem was. Situationally, it was something so minor, so whatever. She happened to be our 100th review. And so for 50, we gave a prize away. For 100, we were giving a prize away. It wasn't intentional. It wasn't something that we told anybody about, but we just did it, right?
Yeah.
So she was our 100th review. Um, she came back in. They just did a little touch up on her. It came out perfect. She was super happy. She changed her review to 5-star. And then we gave her these gifts, and she's like, what is this? And I'm like, well, I said, you're the 100th reviewer. So, you get this. And she's like, oh my God, I wouldn't expect this. This is crazy. So, look, again, we're just trying to meet or exceed people's expectations of what the salon is. So building it out and having it be it's kind of it's funny because I've gotten a lot of business from the salon. People are calling me all the time, like, "Can you just come and help me pick out things?" I'm like, "Sure,"
I
So it's pretty
bet.
cool. Yeah, the experience has
Yes.
been awesome. The feedback we've got is awesome. We're just so pumped up about it. We really are excited about what we've got and what we're trying to create here.
Yeah, and it's what a perfect balance between, her background, your background into I can see how this just naturally fell into place to create such a beautiful salon together. And so tell me a little bit, so how many chairs do you have? And
So the square footage of the salon is about 2,000 square feet. We've got 16 chairs, 8 styling stations, 8 color stations. We have room to expand in this
wow.
space.
Yeah.
We can put in 2 more styling stations, 2 more color stations. I just didn't want it to feel crowded right away.
Yeah.
So kind of we left it where it's a nice open feel, open balance until the space obviously calls for the increase. Um, but yeah, so um, the space is pretty cool. We have a separate keratin room where I put in some pretty industrial fans to be able to pull out the fumes, which
Yeah.
is my stylists appreciate a lot. They also appreciate it in the color area, which I did the same, just to be able to keep the air clean and feeling fresh. So there's a whole recovery system. It cleans the air and it sends the clean air back in by filtering it through what is essentially a type of HEPA filter.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, everybody's the space is pretty put together. I mean, I thought I just tried to think about everything.
I think you have, because now not only are you creating an experience for the customer, that was one of the first things that you mentioned is we want to really touch on this experience, but you're also doing it for the employees as well.
Absolutely.
And that is so important because not only is that going to carry over into everybody's experience, but it really is elevating. And I love the fact that you strategically have placed, a certain number of chairs, but where you can expand and really kind of
Yeah.
creating that, intimate but inviting environment, but doesn't seem too overwhelming. So when you first open your doors, how many employees did you start with?
Oh, geez. It's kind of embarrassing,
That's
but
okay.
it was Christina and one other stylist. And we had two other stylists that were prepared to come over. Their thought was they were just a little bit of afraid of a brand new business opening up and how's it going to do? And am I going to do way worse where you are or way better where I am currently? And there was a little bit of resistance to wanting to come over right away. But one out of those two stylists came over after about 2 weeks.
Okay.
So we were up to three pretty early. We got to the fourth probably about a month and a half later. Um, and boy, oh boy, are they happy they came over. I mean, it is that, I mean, one of them thanks me all the time, says I changed her life.
That's incredible.
So it's
Yes.
pretty cool to feel that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Oh my gosh, that has to be emotionally just such a personal
sure.
touch. And even
Absolutely.
and even starting with, you know, just Christina and one other person, I mean, you're basically providing some light on that you can do this
You
without
can.
having the staff. We all
Absolutely.
want to have the staff to open, right?
Sure.
And not going to
Hmm.
say that that probably was not stressful for you,
Right.
but you can do it. So, walk me through a little bit of that process. So, as you started to hire, was this a new avenue for both of you of bringing on staff and managing?
Yeah, so for me, I'm kind of fortunate because I had the opportunity to do it with the construction company,
Hmm.
and I have about eight guys that work for me now. Um, that's pretty. Uh, it was nice to have that experience coming over here and trying to hire people and do the right thing. However, um, as I mentioned to you before, I have friends that are in the industry. They are giants in the industry. You can check them out. Salon 6 in um, Michigan and Royal Oak. They have a place in Birmingham as well. And Alex and Emilio, who's also in Royal Oak. So um, if you check them out, you'll see they're pretty large salons that are out in Michigan. And I had a very close relationship with both those guys. I basically saw their businesses grow. It was kind of enlightening. I kind of took some of their elements for what they did and helped my uncle's company at the time where I was working grow from a small company to a very big company, just in taking some of their elements, some of my elements. And again, we bounce things back and forth. And I know the construction industry is very different from hair, but it there's certain elements that, like, if you just play your cards the right way and you are honest and a good person and you try and do the right thing by the employees that you have and you treat them fairly, at the end of the day, it just makes for a better workplace. So that's what we try and do here. That's what I do with my construction company. And again, I was very fortunate to have those guys because, going through this whole process with Christina was super scary. We were like, holy cow, what are we doing? We don't know anything, you know? Um, Christina took a class, and I'm trying to remember the lady's name. Uh, oh, geez, I can't think of her name at the moment, but I will find out what it is. Um, so she took a class online about, like, kind of leadership roles and stuff like that through the salon industry, and she helped her a little bit kind of get a grasp of some of the things that she would need to know as an owner. But a lot of it came from that, and then a lot of it came from just me making phone calls. Called my friend Johnny and was like, "Hey, Johnny, I don't know what's going on over here. Help me out, buddy." And sure enough, he kind of was like, "Hey, it's real simple. This is what you got to do. This is how you got to do it." And same thing with Alex. Alex was instrumental in trying to help me through the process of trying to figure out how I lock down, suppliers for color, for products, for things like that. And it was, I was very fortunate to have those guys, and it's pretty cool to be able to bounce stuff off of them now that we have our own.
Yeah. Well, it naturally just felt like you fell into the right place where you had some great mentors that were
We did,
guiding you.
yeah.
Yeah. And that is really such great advice. And just in general is just, when you're starting to open your own business, you might want to look at getting a business coach or a
Yep.
mentor or connect with someone who can help guide you, because there is going to be all these little different things. And even though you have a construction background, it very much, there is a formula that basically gets played out. Now, the beauty industry is slightly different. Have you
Sure.
found some unique challenges with recruiting in the beauty industry that's a little different?
Um, so yeah, talent wise, you never know what you're going to get, right? So people come walking in the door, they have some experience somewhere, they, might think that they know a little bit better than they actually do know. Um, and of course, everybody wants to sell themselves as they're this superstar, um, and that's okay. You get that in the construction industry also, but that gets found out very quickly in the construction industry. And in the beauty industry, you can kind of fake the funk for a little while, but there's also, uh, when you get to a certain point and you realize, oh my God, I don't know what's going on here, you can't fake that. That becomes very difficult in this industry. You don't want to damage someone's hair. You don't want to cause any problems. You don't want anything to happen that's, out of the norm. So um, sometimes, depending upon who the people are who come in, I try to give everybody a fair shake, fair opportunity. Um, I let them go down the road of, let's see what you got. I try and ask people to bring in friends, family members. I don't care who it is, right? Use my products, do all the things that you need to do, but let's do a color on her. Let's do, some highlights. Let's see what kind of cuts you're kind of better at rather than short. Are you better at short? Are you better at long? How does this play out for you in this element? What is the best thing for you to do? And I try and give um, people a um, a good idea of like, give me the roadmap of what you're looking for so I can help you, right? I want to help you with that road that you want to go down. If you just want to be a colorist, that's fine. We have an opportunity to do that here. If you just want to be a stylist, that's fine too. But, you know, um, I try and make sure that people follow their heart and what they feel they're good at. And if we can kind of do that for them, that's what we try and do. Um, so I guess, the best thing to be is honest. Um, you know, don't give people the wrong idea of experience. I would tell people who are coming in, just give us the, the skinny of it all. You don't have to sell yourself, or to me, I feel as though if you just come in and you're honest and there's no question, it makes things for a much better process moving forward. I think that's the best thing that I could recommend to people.
Yeah. And I love the fact that you're basically your onboarding process, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like you're basically having them come in and, audition a bit for
Yes,
you.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what I want them to do. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that must be such an eye-opening experience to just see kind of where different people are at. And I think you're spot on where, you know, it's going to be very clear what you know and you don't know based off of some of the
Yeah,
techniques you're doing. Yeah.
sure, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that you also offer a lot of things with the salon, and you also do a lot of giving back to the community. I know Christina has shared some amazing things that you're doing this month as well. So I know that that sounds like it's a really important thing for both of you as the owners of the salon. Touch upon a little bit of that.
Yeah, sure. So we are Breast Cancer Awareness Month this month, and what we're trying to do is raise some money for obviously the cause, and all of that money and those proceeds will be going to the cancer center at the White Plains Hospital, which is a local hospital not far from us. Um, we are fortunate to have, quite a bit of people already booked with us, which is fantastic. We're super excited about that. Um, and for us, it's not just about making money, right? For me, I want to grow a business and have the community also thrive from that, right? Not just have my business be the only one in town and be super happy about like just me making money. No, I try and touch upon, giving back to the community, making sure that we, you know, kind of keep our heads, straight, right? Not get too big um, for our own good. The Giving back for me has always been um, a pretty important thing. As a child, I didn't grow up in a super wealthy household. Parents were immigrants; they didn't know any better, um, and just having um, having help when we were kids. Um, I just feel like it's important to try and help others, whether it be and again, we don't want to just do this for like, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We don't want to do this for, whatever it might be, but we're going to try and do fundraisers from time to time just to give back to community on a regular basis. Because I feel like, they've accepted us with open arms and we should do the same for them. We should just try and be good people and give back.
I think that's incredible. Yeah, and I can
Thank you.
see that you're both so passionate about that as well, and it really
Yeah.
speaks true. Yeah. So, what advice would you give to a new salon owner or someone who's thinking about creating their own space in salon? What are some tips?
So homework, homework, homework. Make sure before you start to even put a nail in the wall or wherever it might go, right? Wherever your starting point is, make sure you know the direction that you want to go down. I see too many clients in the construction industry, not knowing what's going on, and they'll start a room here and they'll start a room there, and by the time it's all over with, they've got a jigsaw puzzle of a house that you just can't figure out. I think it's true for the salon owners when they're building things out. Just make sure you have a good plan. Look, it may cost you a little bit more money to sit down with an architect or a designer and go through the elements of all that. However, in the end, your end result is going to be way better than it would have ever been if you didn't do that, right? So the 3 or 4 thousand, maybe less money, depending upon your area, is going to be worth every single penny when it's all over. Because I'm in the construction industry and I have a good sense of um, where I like things to be and where I want things to go, I kind of drew this out and gave it to my designer and was like, okay, put this on paper just so I know it looks good, but I got it, right? Um, and when he put it all together, he goes, you want a job? I'm like, no, I don't want a job. I said, I'm good with what I got. He actually has recommended me for a few jobs to kind of help other salons in other areas kind of do build outs. So anyway, that's kind of what's happening. But I would probably tell salon owners, do your homework. Make sure you know every step of the way what it is that you're looking for, right? Where you want your shampoo bowls, you know, where do you want your color stations? Where do you want your styling stations? Does it all flow? You know, through this whole process, I'm not saying I'm perfect, so I definitely made mistakes. But it's easier to correct those mistakes if you have a vision and a plan and a goal, and you have your head set in a right direction for what you're looking to do. And I think if you can do all that planning way ahead of time and have multiple ideas on where to go. So, for instance, um, the products, I would say talk to a supplier, find out exactly what that stuff's going to cost you before you go down the road, and figure out what products you're looking for. Are you looking for a higher end product? Are you looking for something more simple? What is your area call for? You need to do your homework on demographic. You definitely do.
Yeah. No, I think that's great advice. And I actually love the fact that you, even though you have a background, you even took your design to a designer as well. And I think that's
Sure.
such great advice is that, even though you were pretty confident you had it,
Yep.
you still did those due diligence just to make sure
Yeah.
that it works. And I think that
Absolutely.
coming from who's an expert in that field, that is
Right.
incredible. And I also know that just with construction, timelines and things like that, just be prepared. I think it's great advice to always remember it usually is going to take a little longer and probably be a little more expensive than what you're planning.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So the the rollback on stuff that you'd have to do to kind of make the corrections kind of takes a little bit more money and a little more time. So, trying to make sure that you have a full plan going forward is probably the best thing for you to do.
Yeah. Well, Tony, what do you feel is your purpose?
So for me, purpose. I want to develop a culture um, for the salon where people are super excited about being here. I'm not just talking about the clients, I'm talking about the employees as well. The idea for me moving forward is trying to offer my stylists, my people, my team, you know, eventually get them into a 401k. Give them some sort of reason for being here outside of just, working day to day operations, right? Um, also, I want to make sure that I can offer healthcare at some point, right? I know there's a lot of salons out there that are larger that can probably do it and don't. And I feel like, hey, if you're not taking care of your people, why should they take care of you, right? Um, for me, purpose is, developing and cultivating that team, that experience, you know, again, for the team, but also, you want to try and make sure that people walking through the door are feeling that too, right? They're feeling the fact that they want to be here. Like this person's happy, they're super stoked to be here, they're happy to kind of get to their job and do their, and it shows. I mean, the people that are here right now, I mean, they're super, super happy to be here. And I'm so, as an owner, the only thing that gives me is joy. Like, I'm just super happy about that.
That's incredible. Well, and I
Yeah.
think you and Christina are doing a fabulous job. And I know that
Thank
you're
you.
only 9 months in to this adventure, but it just seems like
Yeah.
it. I love how you started off with you feel like you're a rocket that's about to take off, and it is in that it's in motion. And
Yeah,
I
it sure
do,
is. Yeah.
yeah, I do feel that your mindset and energy are all in the most amazing places to just see this go to bigger and whatever your dreams may be for this
So,
project. And so I'm just so excited that you were able to do this with us and share a little bit of tips. And I love the fact that having a mentor is key. If you're looking at building your own salon, really just make sure you do your homework. I know you said homework, I think 3 times. So really
yeah.
hammering down on that. Is there any last advice you would like to share with our listeners?
Yeah. So my buddy said, looking for people in the industry, um, that are going to fit your salon may not ever really work out. You can have people come through that door that are fabulous stylists, but they have like quirky little things that they do that'll just drive you crazy. So he said to me, the best thing that you can do is get these kids right out of school and basically you farm them. I know it sounds weird, but that's kind of what he used. He said farm them, and I said, "What do you mean by that?" And he says, "Well, here's what's going to happen. You're going to bring a person in. They're going to be your assistant. You're going to teach them your way, how you want it done, and they're always going to do it that way." He says, "You bring somebody in from outside." He goes, "Not that that's a bad thing because I've done it, but," he says, "you bring somebody in from outside, they're not going to know your direction. They're not going to know what it is that you're looking to exactly do. So they said, if you can get some of these young kids and give them an opportunity, you kind of grow them." He goes, "You farm them. It's like a plant." He goes, "You kind of get to the point where they start at a very, at a seed, and, you kind of put enough water in and fertilizer and you make sure that they grow. And then eventually they'll sprout and they'll start flowering and they're beautiful stylists in your salon, or colorists, whatever, again, like I said, whatever goal that they might want, that's kind of what I want to help them do." So I think at the end of the day, the idea is, give people an opportunity, these younger kids, and don't abuse them. There's a lot of salons out there that like kind of give the kids um, a time limit on what they can do. Um, they'll keep them for well over a year or 2 years as assistants, and they kind of burn them out, and it kind of makes it. Um, it's sad because they spend all this money and all this time, and then all of a sudden they're just like, "I don't want to do this," because it's not what they signed up for, right? So I think giving the younger kids an opportunity and giving them a chance, I think might be the way to go as far as a new salon recruiting and trying to do things. We've been working with some of the schools in the area. We gave them some, we told them, hey, we have open house. You guys come in. We'll, kind of have the kids shadow us if they want. We can mentor them on like certain things that they might want to do moving forward. We've tried to reach out to, probably I want to say about 4 schools in the areas that are kind of close enough to us within striking distance to kind of make it easy for those kids to come over and do some things. So we're going to set up some days to where they can actually come in and shadow Christina and shadow the other stylists that are here, talk to some of our assistants, maybe talk to some of our reps that are going to be in the area. What I'd like to try and do is set up we try and educate our people all the time. So we set up classes on a regular. So we're going to try and make it so that those kids have an opportunity to sit through that class as well, to maybe help them, with some of the stuff that maybe they're not learning in school. I had a girl that came in here the other day and she said, hey, school is great and all, but we don't do any of the stuff that you guys are doing here in the school. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you learning? You're doing all this time and all this effort and you're not really learning some of these things. So it's refreshing to know that we have an opportunity to help the kids too.
Yeah.
But that would be my last bit of advice.
No, I think, well, that was fantastic advice, first of all.
Thank
And I
you.
love the fact that you're recognizing that the younger talent, basically they need like a stepping stone, right? And you're providing that great transition into being behind the chair, in that you're providing more education, you're providing all of these skill sets and tools for them to really excel. And I also love the fact that you really touched upon earlier that if you want to be a colorist, great. There's an opportunity here for that. And you're really welcoming people to really step into what they're passionate about. And I think
Sure.
that just encompasses your entire outlook on really supporting your employees to help them grow. And that's really going to create such longevity of a team.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, thank
Hey,
you
I
so
appreciate
much.
you, by the way. Thank you so much for giving me a little bit of time to talk to you and to go through this with you. It was a wonderful experience, and we greatly appreciate all your help. And we look forward to working with you.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Tony. And I so appreciate you. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Making It, the path to beauty industry greatness with Beautista. Our mission is to give you a voice, help you find your place of belonging, and empower you to thrive in this beautiful industry. We hope you found inspiration and valuable insights that will fuel your own journey in your career. Head over to Beautista.com and unlock the next chapter of your beauty journey. Create your portfolio, showcase your unique talents, and connect with a community that understands and celebrates your story. Subscribe to Making It for more inspiring stories, and let's continue making it together.